quiet, but maybe I'm just in a quiet mood.
Somber mood?
Yeah, somber mood. You know, you woke up this morning and turned on my phone. Big old mid-50s staring me right in the eye, you know, looking me right in the eye from my phone. I cried a little bit.
We don't lube you up as a listener. We just go dive right in.
Yeah. So it's a day of mourning.
It's a day of mourning,
even though nobody's seen the movie yet.
Really, truly, though, it's a day of celebration because Bored and Annoyed is back.
That's true.
Our small little hiatus.
Yeah, nobody was more hyped. There's nothing else to be hyped about this week, right, than the return of Bored and Annoyed. Really?
I know. For like those 5 people.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. Like, oh yeah, everybody's talking about Star Wars this week, but
I would...
Bored and Annoyed's back.
If that ever happened, if there was ever some sort of hashtag Bored and Annoyed is back,
there you go.
I would shit myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like a good title for the episode.
Bored and Annoyed is back. There you go.
But yeah, so I guess let's just jump right into the thoughts on the tomato score
for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, so I've read a few of the blurbs, I must admit. I saw some of the tweets.
Sure.
The tweets are what I saw more of. Then people seem to be good about not giving out spoilers so far.
Yeah. Maybe it's because people stopped caring about Star Wars.
That's probably true. Plus, there's nothing that could... Yeah, I don't know. But it seems like some people really liked it, and some people think it's safe. I don't know if safe is bad at this point.
Safe is what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if it's bad. You asked an interesting question before we even got on this. Do you want to say what that is?
About whether the critics are judging this fairly or if they're just pissy because basically they went out and with these big hard-ons for The Last Jedi. You know, everybody loved it. All the critics loved it. The reviews were great. And then the people saw it and they said, I'm not too into this. And possibly that this movie is going back to more of Star Wars for the people, and the critics are a little pissy about it. I have a feeling that's playing into this, but I don't know because I haven't gone in and actually like read any of the full reviews or anything, and I haven't seen the movie.
Sure.
So that's just complete speculation. That's what I'm hoping.
Right.
I guess.
My guess is that this franchise, I think I don't think you're entirely wrong because I don't think that it's impossible that there are people like that out there.
Sure.
But I tend to believe that people, when they review movies, tend to probably do it in good faith. I think more often than not. I'm
amazed that Disney paid these critics to only give it a 55%.
Right. And so keeping that in mind, I tend to believe that it's probably a deeply flawed movie because I look at this franchise and I say, the first one out of the gate, a really fun, great little adventure. But when you think about it from a franchise perspective, it really doesn't offer anything new. Yeah, but
it doesn't offer anything new necessarily, but it's fun and it has good characters. So,
right.
So the themes of the original Star Wars, to me, you could have done.
But I always go back to there's a level of mystery and intrigue, and there's always revelations that are going on within a Star Wars movie. At least in the first two, the original two. Episode 4 and 5 have a lot of revelations, interesting things that happen.
I don't think 4 does, but we can continue there.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. Think about it this way, though. 4
introduces the Force and everything.
The entire world.
Yeah,
every scene is
That's
a revelation. So, I mean, I'm talking about the first time you see it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's true.
And so when I think about it in that perspective, there's really, world building wise, there's really nothing new that it brings. And then you had basically a filler episode as your middle chapter when things really should be ramping up into, wow, this is the new danger, or wow, structurally they're supposed to be at their weakest at this point, like the heroes.
Yeah, and they kind of were.
Like they kind of are, but it's such a hopeful ending.
Well, and I'm sorry, but they're supposed to be at their weakest, but there should be like the most interesting, meaty shit going on too. And I don't feel that way about the second movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I've only seen it. You'll find this maybe shocking. I've only seen it the one time.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just wasn't really impressed. I didn't hate it, it's just, I think that, so anyways, my theory is that given sort of that foundation that this series is in, and then how the last one left off with where do you go? What do you even do here? There's like no threads. There's no threat. I mean, there's the threat of the New Order, but it's nothing. There's nothing more personal. There's nothing really more going on there.
Well, it's interesting. I've actually been thinking about, because JJ made comments about how like, yeah, what Ryan did was kind of interesting and fun, and that like it was a bunch of stuff you don't expect. And he did like but none of this stuff matters. But he said, and I can't believe he actually like shit on him, kind of threw some shade at him, I guess I would say. Is like, I don't know if that's necessarily what you want in a Star Wars movie.
Right.
And I think he's right. And I can just imagine him sitting there watching that for the first time. Like, what the fuck?
I think, and it goes back to my review of Knives Out, which is, I think that there's a time and a place for subversion, but too much subversion in one film actually ruins the movie, because if it's just, you think this is going to happen and then it doesn't happen, you're eventually just deflating expectations to the point where as a viewer, you're just like, well, you would think it would be like, whoa, I never know what's going to happen. But when it tends to be just the opposite of what you think is going to happen, you just sort of realize the algorithm at some point as a viewer.
I don't think you're wrong. I think, that's a good point. Yeah, like halfway through The Last Jedi, you're just like expecting disappointment out of every fucking
you're
thing
just like,
happens.
well, it's not going to go the cool way I want it to, so whatever you do is going to disappoint me.
Now, okay, here's the other thing where it's like, I kind of get, even if this is bad, I kind of understand how it's bad, and it's hard for me to blame J.J. Abrams or whoever wrote it, because I don't understand how he sat down given what was left over from the second one.
Sure. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to start from scratch in sort of establishing a new threat and the new story for this one, whereas really trilogies are designed to be one overarching story.
So I'm kind of hoping that it's just wacky. I'm hoping that it's fucking bizarre. Like that's my hope, is that like, okay, yeah, I know it's going to be a nostalgia thing where shit's going to happen that you've seen before.
Yep. And maybe that's the other thing too, is maybe people are just tired of the remember this.
Right. No, that's true. But okay, so I hope it's nostalgia in the lightsaber battles, turrets on the Millennium Falcon, whatever. I hope it's not, we blow up the second Death Star and Kylo Ren dies in Rey's arms as finding out that he is her brother or something. Sure. You know what I mean? Like that, as long as it's not that.
Right.
And even if it is that, honest to God, like it's going to be easy for them if they bring in oldie time Star Wars stuff. I know Emperor Palpatine's in it, whatever. If they bring that stuff in just to make me fucking happy and wash the taste out of my fucking mouth of the second one, which I didn't hate it either, but I can't remember being a huge Star Wars fan ever being more disappointed, because I was excited.
Right.
Like when it was over, it was like, that was okay.
We're kind of a weird position too, because like I'm sure people who are older than us are like, wait, so you watched the prequel trilogy and you weren't disappointed?
We were young,
but we were young, so
right.
It's kind of like this is the first time. I sort of disagree, because right around, was it episode 2 or episode 3 was really when I started sort of looking at films a little bit more.
Not me. I love
critically.
I love it.
I remember hating the second one when it came out, because I hated. What's his name? Hayden Christensen. Yeah, I thought he was horrible.
Even though I think George Lucas probably killed his career.
I'm sure he did, and I feel bad for him, as a human being. But 3 got to the point where I was like, well, at least they kind of sort of found their footing
It's
at the
neat,
end.
yeah. Well, okay. And I've said this before, and I know you probably disagree with me, but like, The Last Jedi isn't disappointing in the way that those are. Those, we talk about, talk about, like you talk about the revelations in Star Wars movies and shit. Like the prequels have that stuff.
They do.
There's a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of little nuggets that are neat.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Right. Whereas in The Last Jedi, it was just even like, okay, it's quality, but it's deflating.
Well, it's it's like it's shot well, it looks nice, and it's acted well. But I mean, we're actually really, really spoiled in the time that we live now, because that's actually almost the bare minimum.
Right, that's true.
Of a franchise now. And so it's like, yeah, but your story doesn't make sense, and the characters don't make sense, and like the small things that you do that actually do change the world actually break it in certain ways, and that's a problem. Is because you became obsessed, and now it's just become a shit on The Last Jedi, like it's always become with us with Star Wars.
Which is too bad, because it's not like the worst thing in the world. But
like the problem is that he became too obsessed with the idea of subverting your expectations, and all logic and all character truth went out the window because of this desire for subversion.
Right.
And that destroys.
And that's what sucks, is that if The Force Awakens did one thing that is actually, I think, extremely impressive, it's that it's not an easy task to take Star Wars fans and make them care about new characters, because every character we've ever been following has been somehow attached to these, you know what I'm saying? So they introduced Rey and Finn and Poe and Kylo, and they're all like interesting, well thought out. I know people get shit on Rey, but I thought Rey was good in the first one.
I think she's good. She still is a Mary Sue. That's the problem with her character inherently. I mean, it's the same thing when in the second one. But as like a performance, she's actually fun to watch.
Yeah, but the second one, they could have really focused on her training and all that kind of shit and done something more.
They doubled down on the Mary Sue nature by making her have like a 2-day training session, and then she's still a god. She was basically a god before because she fucking beat Kylo.
Yeah, but Kylo was like mortally wounded. He was shot with that bowcaster in the stomach. That's true.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it
still seems like way too close of a fight.
Yeah, but I feel like we got a little bit like fucked up in the head by the prequels, because they made it seem like you had to be trained from the time you were a fucking baby until you grew up or whatever.
Right.
When in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke goes and does a little bit of training, but yeah.
He seemed, how long was he even gone? I really don't know. I guess for him, it might have been a couple days. That movie is actually sort of,
but it doesn't feel like that, to your point. It feels like, oh, this is like a big thing. He's got to go there. Right.
Well, and it also felt like Yoda was actually putting him through things, whereas like with Luke, it felt like Luke was doing everything he could to not
shitting on the Jedi.
He was just complaining and being sad the whole time.
God, that is so bizarre.
Let's not talk about that.
Tomorrow we are going to The Rise of Skywalker.
Indeed.
I have heard that people are getting emotional, so if it makes Star Wars fans emotional, then I'm going to be a sucker for this movie.
I've got my fingers crossed.
The action looks fun in the trailers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've heard that the Fast and Furious has good action too, though.
Yeah, but oh god, are we really? You're not going there, are you?
I'm just saying, I need more than action. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. It would
of course,
be nice.
We've got John Williams, and that's always
we've got John Williams. Duel of the Fates is in the trailers.
Emperor
Palpatine.
Speaking about, this whole release of Star Wars, the reviews and whatnot, they're projecting it's going to open to 450 million worldwide.
Okay,
which is right in line with what The Last Jedi did. I guess you can kind of spin that both ways. Depends on what you want to do. This is the no spin zone, though. So I'm just going to give you both options. You could say The Last Jedi really didn't affect the franchise because it's basically staying where it was.
Okay.
Or you could make the argument
it's supposed to be the big event
because it's the finale of a saga. So you can have it both ways, whichever way you want to manipulate things.
We'll see, because this is where, if it's fan service, there's a great chance that fans are going to really like this.
Sure.
And if they come out of the theater and go tell people that it's good, instead of Last Jedi coming out of the theater and telling people they're disappointed.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, it's just too bad.
I watched two reviews. The things that
cheater.
Yeah, I know. I got no plot details. I just got like basically what seemed like it seems like a movie that has structural problems is what it sounds like.
Okay.
And so
well, yeah, because they have to either skip like 20 years at the beginning and tell us a bunch of shit that went down because that's the only way you can set it up because there's nothing left to go on at the end of the second one.
I agree.
Or yeah, you got to do something weird, don't you? You have to do something weird.
It's just that Ryan really...
Fuck you, Ryan.
Ryan would have done I feel like Ryan would have done a great job with his own standalone thing, but as a middle chapter, that was literally the worst area you could have put him.
And fuck you, Disney. I mean, like, this all comes down to Kathleen Kennedy and these people at fucking Disney, especially since they know better. They've created a 20-plus movie story.
Right.
That has been, I mean, as close to flawless as you could possibly hope for, right?
Right. I think any reasonable expectation. Yeah. I mean, well, my thought was they clearly didn't have, and it's so fucking like obvious that they didn't have a roadmap. It's just so obvious. They just thought like, we'll just kind of figure it out as we go. Guess what? We kind of talk about like, just give me one good movie and then you've earned your franchise. But it's like, but Star Wars is different. You've already earned the franchise just based on the property alone. You already know you have it. The fact that nothing was planned out, no character arcs are planned. It's just thrown together.
Well, at least the original trilogy and the prequels had that one combining thing of George Lucas's involvement in all of it. Well, whether he directed it or not, at least he was fucking there and it was his,
And they both follow, literally, they follow the exact opposite character arc, the negative and the positive.
Sure.
But they follow the traditional hero's journey. It's just that one's the positive, one's the negative.
Yeah, but it's so much cooler to just defy expectations and,
Like I said, like I don't
People shouldn't all like your movie,
Ryan
Alex.
can't help himself. He can't help himself. And you know what? Really, ultimately, it does come down to Disney because they hired him.
It's their fault. Yeah.
They hired him.
Not only did they hire him, but they said, you get to write the script and direct the movie. You get essentially complete control over the linking chapter.
Sure.
The most important fucking connective tissue of the trilogy.
Yeah.
It should be the fucking best one.
And I can't blame Ryan for making a movie that he wanted to see.
Sure.
That makes sense to me. But it just doesn't make sense.
How did nobody look at the script? Although they fucking might have loved it. Who the fuck knows? But you'd think they'd have to, like, that would be something that would have to be run by somebody.
You'd think so.
Like, what are we going to do after this? But yeah, I mean, we've talked it to death.
Yeah. I mean, that's it for Star Wars. You want to talk about the Wonder Woman trailer?
Yeah, but I'm not very excited about it.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it looks weird. Although, you know what? To be honest, I thought the first one looked bad in the trailer.
Did you really?
So I'm like, and I ended up loving it. Right. So I don't know. I don't think it looks cheesy, and it annoys me that Chris Pine is there, even though I really like him in the movie.
That's the thing that I'm not liking is it seems like very clear that Pedro Pascal is sort of like,
yes,
he's clearly a Trump stand-in. To me, that's already clear. Sure. And the other thing, and that doesn't bother me, whatever. Trump's a fucking cartoon charcher anyways.
No, Biff Tannen was the Trump stand-in.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I'd be a fucking hypocrite if that bothered me. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is it seems like it's basically like I found a genie lamp kind of thing, and now everybody gets their own wish, and now Chris Pine is back. And it's like, to me, I feel like that's a really shitty story.
Well, is it throwing out Batman v Superman yet? And
well, this takes place in the 80s.
Sure.
So
but, like, I didn't get the impression that she also saw him in the 80s.
No. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing that's why the DCEU doesn't work.
They just,
because she said, She's clearly not over it in Justice League. About
Even though it's been like 80 years or whatever.
And then in Batman v Superman, she says something about that's why I abandoned the world of men or whatever. And it's like, well, you didn't because the fucking 80s.
Right.
So fuck off.
Yeah, fuck it.
So really,
hopefully they just say fuck it and we just ignore
all
everything.
Zack Snyder movies. Ignore all of them. We'll just stick with these two. But the greatest goddamn thing in the whole fucking trailer is when she fucking lassos the lightning.
Yeah, sure.
It's so fucking great. You're right. It's cheesy as fuck.
It doesn't look very good, but again, I don't know what I'm doing or talking about. I thought Aquaman looked awesome.
I think the cinematography looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, the lady knows how to direct a movie.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins, kudos to you. I didn't love Wonder Woman, but
I fucking love me some Wonder Woman, baby.
Yeah. And I, like you said, glad to have Chris Pine back as far as like he's a great presence in the movie, but story-wise,
yeah, you got to make it make sense to me. I'm not there until I see it. But,
and if you're going to make me deal with the death of him again, it just feels like we're just doing the same.
Point too.
If we're doing the same thing, why?
God damn, their relationship and their chemistry was so good in the first one.
It really was.
It's like that's the heart of the movie.
Yep.
That was the main reason I really, really loved it was because of them. But
right.
Yeah.
Then another piece of news, not anything important. Heart of my childhood, though. If we're talking about hearts of things.
Go Power Rangers.
Go Power Rangers getting a reboot from the director of it's that series on Netflix called like The End of the Fucking World, I believe.
Okay, I haven't watched that.
I haven't either. I have too. Which is, we'll get into that a little bit later in the episode, but Netflix just seems to be
unbelievable,
running on all cylinders.
Actually, the best drama category for the Golden Globes, 3 of the 5 movies are Netflix movies.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
So I'm assuming Marriage Story.
Marriage Story, The Irishman. Oh God, what is the third one? I wonder if it is the Eddie Murphy one.
I thought that was a comedy.
It is, but isn't it like comedy, drama, and sci-fi, whatever?
Right. Okay. Right.
But yeah, I can look it up quick. But yeah, basically 3 out of the 5 are fucking Netflix movies, and that is crazy.
That is crazy.
So apparently that's the future, folks. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how you combat that when it's free and they're making that good of shit.
Right.
Musical or comedy, you have Dolemite Is My Name. Drama, you have The Two Popes is the third one.
Right.
The Two Popes.
I haven't seen that
Hopkins
one.
And the guy from Game of Thrones. Yeah. Which I haven't seen that either.
We'll have to check
so
that
you've
one
got
out.
Irishman, Marriage Story, 1917, Joker, and The Two Popes.
Wow.
So fucking A. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
A.
Yeah. I noticed that Parasite isn't in there, but, to each their own, I guess.
It's foreign?
It's foreign, but...
there you go.
Roma was foreign. It was up for Best Picture.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, but the Oscars are different, right?
Didn't I tell you if it's not black and white and foreign?
If Parasite was black and white and foreign?
You know what? I might almost guarantee that. You know what? Fuck it.
You should re-release it in black and white.
I'll guarantee it.
At the end of the year.
I'll guarantee it because it's a hypothetical,
and
so I
don't
have to fucking
pay. Yeah, right.
Anyways, the Power Ranger reboot that's happening. I don't know where that's going. But good for them for rebooting because that movie fucking blew chunks.
Stink. Yeah.
So I can't believe they're not just letting this franchise die.
There's money, man.
There is.
Maybe. Or they're just going to lose a bunch more money.
It's back with the original owner, too. Haim Saban.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's Saban's Power Rangers again.
He's fucking cheap as fuck, dude.
You know what? They should just embrace that. They should just embrace it. Fuck it.
Make a really cheap-looking movie?
Yeah. Yeah, ADR with all the Asian actors.
Oh, my God.
Just send it to Asia and have them make the fucking movie.
Yeah, I don't know what they need to do. All I know is that you need to pick a lane. Like, go dark or go crazy.
Yeah, go crazy. Fuck it. I'm always down for that.
I don't care. Just figure it out.
Speaking of childhood, there was another nugget. I believe they finished filming Mortal Kombat.
Did they really?
Yes, I think James Wan's Mortal Kombat is completed.
James Wan produced.
I think
correct?
produced.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I wish it was directed by James Wan, but yeah, that's done. That's
in the can. All right. Can't wait to watch another great video game movie.
We got to talk about John Wick 4 and The Matrix 4 being released on the same day.
No way. Really?
Yes.
Is that really fucking happening?
That's true. Keanu Reeves in John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 in like May of 2021 on the same day.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's just Keanu overload.
We are I don't think people realize this, but we are still in the Keanu-sans.
Yes, we are.
Because guess what? Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Did you see the pictures?
I saw the pictures. They look like Bill and Ted.
They look like Bill and Ted, and that's all I fucking want.
It's funny. I mentioned that to my brother, and he's like, God, Bill must be happy. He's got like something to do.
Alex Winters, I think is the guy's name. Yeah. Actually,
he didn't quite take off like Ted.
Well, apparently he has been doing like behind the scenes stuff. Like he's a director and stuff, a producer and stuff. So I guess he turned out okay.
Yeah, well, I think he's probably just doing drugs, living on the streets till Ted came by and said,
yeah, he looks almost the goddamn same.
He does. They both look great.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like they're ageless wonders.
Right.
But can't wait for Wild Stallions to rock my world eventually. Hey, we're here for the puns.
Yeah,
then,
well, let's, what do we got? What else
do we got? I don't fucking know.
Do you want to do the topic? So we're reviewing today, right?
We're reviewing.
Marriage Story, right?
Marriage Story. Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson.
Ray Liotta, what's her name?
Laura Dern.
Yeah, Laura Dern. We got who else we got in here? Oh, the woman who was in the first Airplane plays Scarlett Johansson's mother, who is one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Is she the woman? I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. The more I think about it, I think I'm wrong. Is she from Seinfeld?
Which one would she have been?
The papier-mâché?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I could be wrong.
She reminded me of her.
No, she is the main character in Airplane. Like,
oh, right. Okay,
yeah.
right. Okay. You said the first Airplane, and I thought that was like a movie. First Airplane.
The first Airbender. Airplane lady. Airplane with Leslie Nielsen. Okay, there's her, and then there's Alan Alda. There's a bunch of good people in it. Really good movie. Really good cast. Great acting. It's a drama.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. Basically, it is a marriage story, but it's not about the upswing of the marriage. It's completely about the horribly depressing divorce.
Yeah.
And it treats its characters like real people, where nobody is completely in the right or the wrong, which is how most relationships are.
Yeah.
Some are more
one-sided than others.
Yes.
Yeah. but it's written and directed by Noah Baumbach.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he kind of did a bang-up job because, like you said, none of the characters are really right or wrong, really. But at the end of the day, they all feel very real and unique. And kind of quirky in a way. The movie was quirkier and funnier than I expected it to be. And I think that's to the emotional maturity of the movie. That's the credit, is that there are somewhat silly things that happen in this.
Sure.
And I think a lesser movie would have been sad and depressing and crying all the time.
Well, okay, so I would say that without the silly stuff, this movie would have just been miserable.
Yes.
So you need it.
It's absolutely welcome.
Right.
It's so you're just happy to have a little bit of a laugh.
Right.
And it catches you off guard because you're like, I know what this movie is. Right from the get-go, you know what it is.
Yeah.
I think Scarlett Johansson puts in, she is like one of the most phenomenal actors, whatever.
She's really good.
But she's one of the best that is working right now. As far as like the quality of the movies that I've seen her in.
That's true. She was really good in the fucking Nazi Jojo Rabbit.
She's great in Her. I know it's just voice acting,
Just voice
but whatever.
acting,
But
yeah.
whatever.
Very robotic voice acting.
Right.
We'll give it to her though.
Yeah,
well,
but
I'll let it slide.
Right. Well, I just think of her career, and I'm like, you've done a really good job of building like this sort of. I mean, she's got some stuff that's not great in it.
She was great in the Lost in Translation with Bill Murray, right?
Yes.
Like one of the first things I remember her in.
Yeah. So
I mean, and who could forget The Island?
The Island. You know what? We all have a couple stinkers. It just happens.
I don't hate The Island.
I don't hate it, but it's not
Which,
great.
speaking of, we really have to review Michael Bay's new Netflix movie because it looks like the fucking
dumbest thing ever.
Yes. It
Yeah.
looks amazingly dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just saying how great Netflix was.
Perfect.
But I really I dug the hell out of this movie. Adam Driver also puts in, he's fucking great too.
He's insanely good. I was thinking about him when I was watching it. I'm like, God, I really, not to get back on Star Wars, but it really is sad because he is so fucking awesome as that Kylo Ren character.
Yes.
Even in The Last Jedi, he's great. And he was great in Black Klansman last year. I thought he's fucking good in everything.
What was the other one he was in recently that he was? The Southern movie about the dudes stealing the stuff.
Oh, yeah. Logan Lucky. Yeah, fucking great.
Great in that.
So basically, he can do everything because he's got like that dramatic kind of sad look to him. He's got an interesting look to him. So he can play like depressed and he's kind of, he can play a schlub or a bad guy or whatever.
Yes.
And he's funny.
Yeah, his range is it's very impressive because he can be very monotone. He can be very thoughtful and pensive, but then he can go into he goes into these like sort of silly, awkward. He's not a graceful person in this movie, and he plays the physical comedy really well.
Yes.
But then when he gets into like one of the most emotional scenes when him and Scarlett, I mean, this is not a spoiler. At one point, Scarlett and him have a yelling match, and it's fucking powerful.
My favorite scene in the movie.
One of my favorites. I really love the beginning. They're talking about.
It opens with them they were asked by their therapist to like write letters about why they were with the person or what they love about the person because they don't want this relationship to be just all, they want the good thoughts to be there, like, it's like an exercise or whatever.
Yeah. And so it's like, think about the other person as a human being. Right. So there's this nice narration as you're watching these two. Great
introduction to the movie and the characters.
And great because you see a little bit of humor in the characters. You see a little bit of, maybe there's a little bit of a sarcastic thing in there. But you start the movie liking both of them.
It's true.
And not only do you like them, you kind of want them to work it out.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you guys got something here.
But the movie's presented in a way where you just know that's not going to happen.
You just know it's not going to happen. And I think that's also important because I think if there's ever a kid who's watching this at like 18, 19, 16, whatever, you need to see the inevitability that like divorce happens and that's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
I mean,
or your parents
are rotting in hell because God will never forgive you for breaking up the union. But
I mean, this is true because God totally fucking cares.
Yes, of course.
We know exactly what goes on in his big cosmic brain.
That's right.
Found it out. It's in a book.
The book says so.
The book says all. You need nothing more than the book.
Let's just offend all of our religious listeners.
Have you seen this book? It's really old. It's got a lot of good stuff in it.
But no, that is an important message that, hey, there's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
It really goes into both sides of this story, this marriage story. Well, and it's good lessons to be learned here.
It hit me in the feels. This is one of the more I don't want to say personal reviews, but it's one of those things where I looked at it and I was like, I think, and maybe it's not true. Maybe if you've been in nothing but a healthy relationship your whole life, you can still appreciate the movie for what it is. But I look at it and I'm like, I feel like you need to have been through
some battles,
something.
Yeah, no, there's some battle, like the scene, the fight scene, the fighting scene, the fight scene, fight. Yeah. That they get into was very like, oh God, like I can remember like screaming matches I've been in with exes or whatever. And yeah, I mean,
it takes you back there, and you're like, and it's sort of, I feel like you end up putting yourself in there, and
sure,
makes you realize like, yeah, I was not a perfect person either.
No, but they're a bitch. They were a total bitch.
And it doesn't mean that, you want to be back with that person or anything.
No.
But it just means that you can kind of take ownership of maybe your half of what you contributed.
I mean, I would say in most of my relationships, I was responsible for about 5% of the problems.
Sure.
The other 95 goes to the other person, and it did a really good job of, setting me up with, it's a fantasy film where it's actually 50-50 at fault.
Yeah.
That's not how the real world is, but yeah, I mean, Tolkien couldn't have written it better. I don't think.
Right. I mean, it taught you an important lesson that you're always right.
Yes. Right. A good reminder of like, nope, you're not like these people.
Right.
They're both in the wrong. Yeah. But now, here's an interesting question.
Sure.
Was there anything that the characters did, without spoiling this, because there are, when we get into spoilers, I can tell you things I've thought of, but was there anything that either of the characters did that like felt a little bit convenient for the story, if that makes sense? And maybe I have to tell you what it was in spoilers.
You might have to, because nothing really stood out to me. What I kind of liked about this was they felt like real people, because I think a lot of men tend to be, especially artists, speaking as an artist, a lot of them tend to be a little bit control freaks. A lot of them tend to be a little self-centered, the tortured artist, whatever. And but they also were quirky enough, because I'm like, these are just like quirky hipster people,
right,
that have slightly strange habits that they do. And so a lot of some of it was like, well, that's kind of odd.
Right.
But also at the same time, it's like, but these are kind of weird people, kind of.
Yeah. No, and I like that you just brought that up, because it's true. Like, he's got a little bit of a control thing going on, and then she's like not communicative as to what she wants.
Yes.
So it's like, what's he supposed to do? So it's constantly that, like,
it's the
you're
ultimate
battling back and forth with that problem. It's like it's the stereotypical issues in every male to female relationship.
How many times have you heard, I'm not a fucking mind reader?
Right.
Like it's that, the movie. But it's also like, well, you never listen to me and you don't see me as a real person. I was like, God damn, these are really fucking valid arguments that both of them have.
What's your grade?
I think I'm going to go, I want to go A-. I feel like it's going to be in the bottom half of my top 10.
Really? It's going to make the top 10?
I think it might. It's I think it's probably the most emotional movie I saw all year. I'm just going to say that. I really did. I really liked it.
Yeah, I would give it a B+.
Okay.
So
we're actually really close.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was like the hype. I didn't feel like it lived up to the hype that I went into, because like everybody was talking about how fucking amazing it was. It was not the most emotional movie of the year for me.
Do you have one that's sticking out right now
as an emotional movie?
Yeah, like the most, like the one where you're like, wow, I felt a shit ton in that.
I saw Richard Jewell this weekend.
Okay.
That was rough.
Okay.
Which, yeah, I mean, Clint Eastwood when he does it well, he's very good at that. The making you sappy, sad bullshit movie. So that was, he was, and I don't think Richard Jewell is a masterpiece. I'll get into it in shit we watched, but no, that one had me pretty sad. I would say Jojo Rabbit had me more than this one did.
You might have me on that one. That one might be the most.
that was really fucking. I mean, The Lighthouse.
That was an emotional journey, just very different.
I mean, putting yourself in the shoes, having to smell those farts all the time.
Oh, God.
Just being around someone who just farted all the time. But yes.
It's a very important part of the plot. Oh, man.
It actually is part of the plot.
It is part of the plot. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was good. B+. Spoilers, I guess. My spoiler thing that kind of bothered me was I didn't like, and this could have been by design because it made me like upset with her, kind of like he would be. But I did not really like the idea or the like that. Like I didn't understand why she went to the lawyer.
I guess I kind of got the idea that she's feeling, because what I got it from at that point was that she wasn't making, and I think that's it almost feels like the point of the movie about like, at this point in a marriage, people are pushing their own agendas on you the whole fucking time.
Okay. Yep.
And so I sort of saw it as like, she's just kind of going with the flow. The only person she knows how to say no to is her mom, because her mom's fucking nuts.
Her mom was hilarious, by the way.
Her mom was, I was like, you have a horrible mother. At that scene where she wakes up at her mom's and she's just like, didn't you find dad blowing another dude? And she's like, and I always regretted it for giving him such a hard time about it. It's like,
see, I loved the mother. I didn't have any ill will towards her at all.
I thought she was a delusional human being.
I liked the fact that they like him. I liked that. They like him, and like the whole like, oh, well, here, I'll help you get the cheap lawyer. Don't tell her. Like that kind of stuff. I liked that stuff. You know what? It does. It kind of makes sense that she gets the lawyer, because it's like she's also trying to take back some semblance of control over this relationship that she feels like she hasn't had control over. But I felt bad for him, so it just made me mad.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, you do. You feel bad for him because like, but then all of a sudden the cheating becomes like a real thing, and you're like, oh, you fuck. Like, I get it. Like I get, like,
yeah. See, I that felt really real to me, and I wasn't holding it, because again, there's two sides to every story, and it to me.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Never cheated on a girl.
Okay,
so I'm just gonna say, and I was in a bad relationship. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. And I get his whole, like, I sacrificed my 20s. He brings that up in the fight. And I'm like, I get it. But you still made a choice. And I'm not saying it made him the bad guy. It made him human. But I had a problem with that. And then I'm like, well, you both have done things that I now do not like that you have done.
No. It's not right that he did it. No, but certainly it's not right that he did it. But the point is, like, okay, well, people don't do things that are right all the time.
Well, yeah, she fucking hacked his emails.
Right. That's true too.
So I'm like,
and like, you know, obviously I can't speak to the positions you've been in, but perhaps Adam Driver had a little more scattered ass around him during this time than you would be used to.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I like his character, not the actual real Adam Driver.
I'm sure.
Of course he does.
I'm sure. Yeah, that goes without saying.
But, you know, I mean, neither one of them did anything that made me like hate them, which I think is a strength of the movie, because they both do shitty stuff that would be forgivable under certain circumstances.
Right.
Like, yeah, she hacked his emails, but I don't know, he's cheating. You know, and it's funny because he would like, even if you did the cheating, if you found out she hacked your emails, you'd still be pissed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because
so
it's
that
like
makes it interesting.
It's the ultimate answer of two wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
Which I mean, I guess you want to boil down the movie. That's the damn point of the movie. Yeah, Laura Dern is the embodiment of like somebody pushing their own fucking agenda on somebody going through a divorce, which is like,
yeah, but she was kind of like a help to Scarlett Johansson's character.
She also did some really kind of terrible things.
Right.
She was not, I would say she was not a good person.
Well, she's out for her client.
Yep.
And everyone else be damned.
Yep.
You know, so.
Well, and that's the problem. And it really does make an argument for like, try to fucking figure this out on your own, because divorce
What a waste of money.
Yeah. Like, it's like, if you can just be an adult and really just be objective about what's fair.
Right.
God, but I guess hard though. But I guess that's really hard for people. And I guess that's also the point.
I mean, yeah, no shit.
Well, because they brought up like the thing about moving out to LA really got me, because it's like, and then when Laura Dern actually says, oh, so when it's something that she wants, it's a discussion, but when it's something that you want, it's an agreement. And I was like, oh, that fucking makes sense.
It's how it should be.
Right. I just I was blown away with how real it felt. It felt very like, and I guess the conversations are real, the things that people would say are real, but also there's this weird sort of slightly heightened sense of reality with some of the humor.
When he flips his shit and has like the breakdown when they're fighting with each other and hits the wall, it was so like cathartic to watch because it was like, Jesus Christ, like
I'm not
this
a fucking
isn't
freak.
as rare. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That stuff. Everyone should watch it. I don't think it's going to be for everyone. It's not exciting. It's a very dramatic, slow moving movie.
Yeah. It's not for everybody.
No.
Just like Roma was not for me.
Roma's for everyone.
Nope.
You've got to be from another planet to not love Roma.
Roma's
that opening shot of just the water-filled ground.
Garbage.
Oh, God, it was so good. So old.
So
old Hollywood.
So black and white.
So black and white.
So foreign.
So foreign. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll tell you what, if Marriage Story takes down more Oscars than Roma, I'm really going to have a conniption.
I don't think it will.
No, I don't
really
either. It's
don't.
not
I
black
really
and
don't.
white.
Right. That's true.
That's the key.
Yeah. Do you want to do Mandalorian before we get into shit we watched?
Mandalorian. Yeah, we just watched Mandalorian, episode 7, and I guess 6 we need to talk about?
Yeah,
we have
so
to
we got
talk
both
about
of them.
5?
We have 5 also, yeah.
Which one was 5? That's what's kind of neat about the show is they're like...
the bounty hunter one, right?
The show's about a bounty hunter, right?
Where he meets the bounty hunter kid.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, where they have the little setup at the end, and we don't know who that was.
Right.
5 was one of the weaker ones, in my opinion.
I would say 5 probably... I struggle between 5 and 4 as to which one's the weakest, because 4 was the one where they went to the town,
4 was the
right?
7 Samurai one.
Yeah. So... 5 that kid was just downright unlikable
and not a good actor.
No. It has Ming-Na Wen, which I like her.
Sure.
But yeah, there
wasn't much interesting going on, in my opinion.
No.
I wasn't that.
Oh, and the old lady at the docking place, I actually thought she was kind of a bad actress too.
She was someone famous too, and
Really?
I can't remember what her name is. But yeah, no, she wasn't very good. That episode was just not as. Wasn't very good.
Yeah, it was cut below everything else.
But it did have an ending where some caped guy is standing over.
Yep.
And care to make any guesses?
I don't fucking know Star Wars well enough.
Boba Fett?
Darth Maul? Oh wait, it wasn't robot legs.
No robot legs.
Boba Fett would be interesting. I'd also be like, yeah, you really got to fucking earn this.
We're on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Could be Boba Fett.
What else? I know that I never watched the show. I think it was the Clone Wars, the CGI animated one.
Okay.
I know there was like a Western kind of guy who had he looked like a kind of like a bug. He was blue. He had like a cowboy hat on.
And you think it might be him?
That would be interesting in that, but I doubt it because I think everything before Disney bought it is no longer canon. So I don't think
Clone Wars is.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, Clone Wars was grandfathered into canon.
Then that might be cool. All I know about him is he looks cool.
Okay. All right.
I have nothing. I have nothing.
I'm hoping it's Darth Vader.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck does he want with a Mandalorian?
He's really after those Mandalorians.
Maybe he wants the baby.
Yeah. Baby Yoda. That's right.
Force baby.
But yeah, so there was that one. Then there's the one with Bill Burr.
Which
was great.
The prison breakout one.
Yeah, the prison break episode was great. It's such a Western, the show. It's so fucking awesome.
I just realized, I sort of realized, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, I realized they probably just started with a list of what are Western tropes.
Yeah, right.
And we're just going to do that as an episode for each one.
Well, even this last one that we just watched, not to jump ahead, but there's the campfire scene where the monsters come and it's so Western.
Right. Well, and it's very Western in that, it's 2 outlaw groups who have to team up for a thing. And you don't know who you can trust.
Yep. And then you get there and the sheriff has his goons that all show up.
Exactly. It's very Western. I was actually going to say episode 6. Wait.
6, right?
6 is what we're on, right?
6 is what we're on. That's the prison breakout. No, 6 is the prison breakout.
Sure.
The one we just watched is 7.
Okay. So 6 was, up until this episode, my second favorite.
Yes, I would agree. I'm in lockstep with you there.
Because Bill Burr was phenomenal, actually.
It's really fun. You get a few like fun characters. That guy who was in Sons of Anarchy, the like fat biker looking guy with the beard who like kind of sends them on the mission to go capture or break this guy out of jail.
Yeah.
He was good.
Yep.
It's so cool how the episodes are so like detached where you could watch them almost in any order outside of the first one and the last one we just watched. Like it wouldn't matter. It's just he has an adventure. He goes to the next place.
Yep.
Or the next thing pops up that he has to deal with. I love it. I think it's good.
Small little detail, but one of the things I loved about the episode was I loved the robot design, the droid design in that episode. Very bug-like, almost like a Kamen Rider kind of Japanese thing.
Yep.
Voiced by Mose from the IT Crowd, for all my IT Crowd fans out there.
I don't know the IT Crowd.
It's a fucking phenomenal comedy from British, or from Britain. From British.
From British place.
Yes.
British land.
I loved him too. I will say there was one moment that felt a little contrived, which was Bill Burr's kind of like, well, let's just all get along for this trip while they're on the ship driving to or flying to whatever the place.
Sure.
And, but then he starts sort of poking at the Mandalorian. And it's like, wait, didn't you just say, let's all get along and just do this mission?
He just can't help himself.
And then now you're going to fucking like try and mess with like the kid and stuff.
Well,
I'm like,
the show is not, it's predictable.
Yeah.
Which, you know, good or bad, whatever, however you want to take it. It doesn't bother me because it's fun, predictable. It's like, okay, well, this is the part where they do, you know, yes. Yeah. So I am enjoying it. That episode was great. The big dude, I wasn't like in love with his character design. I wasn't in love with what the Twi'leks looked like, really. But I thought the characters were all pretty fun overall.
The big guy was a missed opportunity for me in that you look at him and you're like, okay, so he's big and he's strong. I get that. But also he's not particularly fit looking.
No, so he's like a big fat guy.
Right. So I was like, well, fight wise, the way you beat this guy is you tire him out.
Sure.
And they kind of did the standard Star Wars thing where like, oh, I shut a door on you.
Right.
And I was like, it would have been nice to see the Mandalorian sort of beat him by tiring him out.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a nitpick. I understand that.
Yeah.
It's just sort of a missed opportunity for me. But anyways, episode 7.
7 was awesome. Everything's coming together.
Yep.
He goes back and gets a couple of the old crew from earlier episodes, and he goes back.
Avengers.
Yeah. Then they go back to the planet where the Imperials are at, and it turns into a classic Western. Like they're going across the countryside to raid the town.
Yep.
They show up, guns drawn.
Yep.
Whatever. Awesome.
Yeah.
Fun episode.
Great cliffhanger.
Yes, great cliffhanger. Great cliffhanger.
I would say the second best cliffhanger since the first episode's cliffhanger.
Sure. You mean the second episode's cliffhanger or the first one?
The first one.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose.
Because I think the thing that I'm not in love with about the show is like some of the episodes feel like a little too one-offy. I feel like the best ones. And I bet you the next one's going to be one of the best ones too, because it's directed by Taika. But the ones that seem the best so far are the ones that seem to have sort of a nice lead in. Like 2 was great because you're just dropped in this.
I don't think that's why 2 is great. 2 is great just because it looks so good.
I was thinking it today because I liked 7, but I realized the thing that 2 has over 7 is that 2 starts out. Well, 1, it's got virtually no dialogue. Which
it's like nothing's going on. That's like the best part about it.
But it starts you off in action right away, and you already know exactly what's at stake because it was all set up in the previous episode.
I suppose you could say that, but I would still say 2 is just fucking great because of the music and the cinematography, everything going on. You're like, wow, this is a cool world that we're in.
Yeah.
You know.
Pacing was great in 2. Not a coincidence that episode 6 was directed by the same guy.
Right. And 6 was just great because it's so much fun. It's such a fun little idea.
Yep.
And, you know, like I I mean, it's exciting to turn it on every week because you're like, oh, what are we going to get this time? Like,
yep. And I am getting a little bit of which I did not have when this started. A little bit of the yay Star Wars.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because I didn't have it. I was like, well, another Disney Star Wars thing. They've all kind of disappointed me for the most part, other than Force Awakens.
It's funny because it's taking one thing from the prequels that I like, and it's mostly like the way they just do the transitions with the ship in space going into light speed, that stuff.
Yeah,
like that feels very Star Warsy to me.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun show. I still don't know if I would go as like, it's Game of Thrones. It's certainly not like Game of Thrones.
It's better than Game of Thrones.
Well,
it's better than season 8 of Game of Thrones and 7, I would say.
I don't know if I'd go with 7, but I would agree with 8.
Yes.
But yeah, we're enjoying it. Cannot wait for next episode.
The final episode of the season.
I don't know how they're going to tie it all together. I don't know what Tyke is going to do.
Because they got season 2, man.
I keep on forgetting they're doing season 2.
They're doing season 2.
I almost wish that they had not revealed that they're doing season 2.
I kind of, and I don't think they'll do it because Baby Yoda is now this cultural icon thing, but I kind of wish that this was a Baby Yoda season and we're going to leave him behind and let this not be
1000% agree.
You agree? Yeah.
He will not be gone.
No.
Too much money to be had. I don't know. I
don't hate having him around. Every time he comes on screen, I love him. But
people are going to hate me. I'm a little tired of the memes, people. I get it.
Shut down the memes a bit.
He's fucking cute. Got it. What I would like is maybe if he became more of a character rather than a gag.
Yeah, he's a gag. Although we're learning more about him in the Force. Apparently
the choke was great.
The choke was great
because I was like, oh, not just a Darth Vader thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was great. And I don't know about this Force healing.
We almost forgot about it. That's a gripe.
That's a little odd to me.
You brought up a great point.
Like how, like none of these Jedis were just healing each other when Order 66 or whatever happened, and like they all fucking just got beheaded, or how did they all get killed?
You could have always. My problem is like you could always have had them have Force healing, but what they did in the show is problematic.
Completely healed them.
Yeah. He Wolverined it, and it's like no. Maybe it's like, oh, he sucked out the poison or whatever the fuck.
Right.
But the complete healing in 5 seconds, no, not okay.
Well, I almost see. It seems to me that why didn't the Emperor just pick up fucking Anakin's limbs, put him back on his fucking body, and heal him?
Right.
I mean, I don't, you got to explain more of this to me. Is this new? Is this a new thing for Baby Yoda only? Maybe, And
that's something I've been thinking about Star Wars for a while. Is I'm not saying I want necessarily superpowers, but maybe people who specialize in Force in different ways.
Okay.
Maybe I figured
out up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, diversify it. Figure out a way that somebody specializes in something and that makes them unique.
We've talked about this too, that the problem they're going to run into here is that as the lore gets bigger, as there's more movies, more shit, it can't help but get broken in some ways and have inconsistencies. I mean, the original trilogy is such a concise little story that works so beautifully on its own, which, by the way, we're talking, all these people talking about this is the end of the Skywalker saga, this latest movie here. Like, no, I'm sorry, the perfect ending was done. Like, this is a nice little bonus maybe that I can watch as like for shits and giggles, but the ending was the fucking ending.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest fucking ending. Like, this is great as a fun little thing for me to enjoy, but I'm
probably going to just remember it and say like
that was the ending.
Could have been amazing. Could have been amazing.
Yeah, but it's never.
We never got a scene with all of the original team.
Who the fuck is ever going to watch Return of the Jedi and watch the ending and be like, oh, but that's not really the ending of the saga.
Did you know that Luke got depressed and almost killed his nephew?
Yeah. Oh, well, Darth Vader turning good isn't really the big moment of the series, because later on, Rey finds out that, you know what I mean?
You're describing a man I want to punch in the face.
The guy who's right? Or, who's wrong. Who's completely wrong.
He was completely wrong.
Yeah,
right.
I
want to hit that
You know
guy.
what I mean, though? It's like,
well, did you know?
Now, they're hyping this is the end of the Skywalker saga.
They're doing that because it's dollars.
Is it? Is it? I don't think it is.
The ends.
Fuck that.
The ends. Dude.
Nobody believes that.
Endgame made like 800 million more than Infinity War
but
worldwide.
Endgame felt like that was like a real earned thing. Like nobody,
they're trying to trick you into it. That's my point. They're trying to trick you into.
Okay, well, don't fall for it, people.
Well, I didn't fall for it. The end of the Skywalker saga.
Associate the Skywalker saga is Luke Skywalker.
Yes,
at the end of
that's what I'm saying.
Jedi.
Nobody's going to fall for it, but they want you to.
Okay. Well, good job, I guess.
No, they failed. They failed. You lose.
Oh yeah. But so Wonka. So what's your grade of The Mandalorian so far as a whole?
As a whole, I'm probably going to give it like a B or B plus.
I'll give it an A-.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever, but it's delivering on what I want. It has gone, there's still nostalgia bits, but the first episode had me worried because it seemed like every 30 seconds they were throwing like an item from Star Wars.
The thing that gets me excited is the potential that we're now dealing with the whole, like, you brought it up. We actually watched this episode together, the most recent one. The idea of like the scattered remains
of the Empire
is a fun story potential.
Right. Correct.
And then the eventual, how does it get to the First Order? That's a story.
I don't care if we see that. Really,
right. Because the First Order is so damn boring to me. I almost don't even care how it happened. I really almost don't. You'd have to make an amazing story, not some like, ew, I'm some Lord Snoke.
It sounds like something that Ryan could have maybe tried to do in the Last Jedi instead of just.
Sounds like Ryan could have done almost anything other than what he did. How about those Knights of Ren?
Yeah, I guess we're getting them.
They're here. They're here now. You hearing about them?
JJ, like, how the fuck they existed and then they didn't? How the fuck?
You know what they would have been better off doing? I just realized what they would have been better off doing. They would have been better off basically making it a quadrilogy.
Well, maybe they should have after The Last Jedi. Maybe they should have gone, oh, fuck.
Because structurally, you're broken.
Yeah.
So you have to get back to end of Act 2. You have to get back to that spot.
Yeah. And here we are talking about The Last Jedi
again. That's all we have.
Hey, he did give us fodder for discussion. Shit we watched?
Yeah, shit we watched.
What did you watch? You were on vacation.
I was on vacation, so I like...
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, or
I guess I could bring up the Pink Panther, or not the Pink Panther. What's the second one? The second Pink Panther movie. It's not the Pink Panther 2. It's like the gun that shot itself. Or something like that.
What is this? Is this the
original
Steve Martin version or the old school one?
Old school.
Okay,
60s.
So you watched this?
God damn! Like honestly, some of the best physical comedy
I've never seen these. I need to see these.
They're slapstick and silly. Understand that going in.
They're like, I love me some like Three Stooges type comedy from way back.
It's that. It's kind of like the Who's on First of movies.
Okay, got it.
Love it. So fucking funny. It's just amazing. But yeah, that was basically it. I watched that in the hotel. I watched it in the hotel room. Yeah.
I watched. I went and saw Richard Jewell.
Yeah.
Really fucking. It was a really good movie. I'm going to give it a B+. I don't think it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it does it is a tearjerker because this guy, they put him through hell. Basically, it's about a guy who was like kind of this chubby wannabe cop who's a security guard. He's kind of a rent-a-cop type guy, and he finds a suspicious package at the Olympics, at the ceremonies with the concerts or whatever. And he reports it, and then they turn it around on, here he's the prototypical like male hero wannabe who just put this bomb here just so he could find it. And apparently this is what was 96. So I was too young to really remember this well at the time. But yeah, apparently like he was dragged through the mud in the media for months. He had his whole fucking life turned upside down. Kathy, the cast is great. It's got, I feel bad because the main character is great. The guy from I, Tonya. He's really good in it. Kathy Bates is great. And I always forget his name too, from 3 Billboards and Iron Man 2. I feel like a real dumbass for forgetting his name.
Why can't I remember? I brought it up last time.
But John Hamm is in it. There is a current apparent controversy because Jesus Christ, I really just need to look up the cast of this goddamn movie. I want to say Olivia Munn.
Olivia Wilde's character. I've heard about this, about how like she as a reporter sleeps around to get information.
So, okay.
And apparently there's no real evidence that actually happened.
In the movie, there's a scene where she's trying to get information from John Hamm's character. He's the FBI agent. And essentially, she's like flirting with him and whatever, and he tells her and by the way, it's Sam Rockwell.
There we go.
But he tells her the bit about, because basically what happened was someone leaked that they were looking into Richard Jewell. And that's how the media got a hold of it. And she's the reporter that broke the story. But it wasn't presented as, you tell me and I'll fuck you, really. Like they did fuck, but it wasn't presented that way. And apparently she was known as like, and I don't know if it's true, but the rumor on her was that she would like sleep around with cops for information and stuff. So I think they took like a general thought about her and for a narrative purpose, like made it more, which is problematic.
I heard this, and I have a couple thoughts. It's a shitty thing about fucking the world that we live in. We're going to spend more time talking about a stupid controversy than in the actual movie itself. But I had heard about this, and Olivia kind of came out and she was like, this is really a big double standard, because when a woman does something sexual in a movie, she's objectified and she's sort of defined by that one act of using her sexuality. Whereas if a man does it, like
man doesn't have the power to do that.
But James Bond sleeps with people to get stuff. And the whole point is it's played off as a cool thing. He's more than just doing that. And I'm like, you know what? She's absolutely right. The shit that she's getting for this is it's what it is to me. It's people, well-meaning people who are like, no, treat her with respect. And it's like, but you're defining her by one aspect of her life.
That I agree with. I don't agree with the double standard necessarily, because, I mean, can we be honest here? Who has more power as far as that is concerned?
Oh, you mean as far as like sex goes?
You think that Olivia Wilde can't walk into any fucking spot anywhere in America and have sex within 15 minutes? I mean, I'm dead serious.
Right, but I mean, at this point in society, there are men that can do the same thing too.
I totally disagree with that.
You don't think Chris Hemsworth could have sex in 5 minutes?
Chris Hemsworth isn't a reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
No, but you brought up Olivia Wilde.
Anyone who looked like her. Anyone. Right. Good-looking women, because men are we don't hold the power in that exchange.
Okay, what I would say is I believe that Chris Hemsworth could get laid. Probably, I don't want to say just as quickly.
No,
but it's a guarantee. Because now we're getting into, it's almost looks versus gender at this point, because you're that good looking, you're going to get laid if you really want. The only thing is that Chris is going to have to like maybe put in a slight bit more effort.
A lot more effort. A lot more effort. Come on. Come on. Women are like, they have way more power as far as that's concerned. They do. I mean, outside of men taking it.
But we're not talking about that, though. We're just talking about the idea of using sex as a weapon.
Sure, but like James Bond, if you made a movie about a really good looking woman type James Bond who went around and slept with people, like that's like any good looking woman could do that.
But you don't think that she would be labeled as slut?
But any good-looking woman could do that. It's a different thing. Like, James Bond is suave. He's got that it factor that makes him able to do that. That's the character. He's so fucking suave that he can pull that off.
Right. I see what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, like, it's not about the ease of it. It's about the fact that they are being defined. What she is just talking about is being defined by one act in the movie. Yeah, that's
true. But I mean, if you did know her, you probably would be kind of pissed. You know what I mean? And the people who know her are the ones who are pissed.
And I think that's a valid point. I also think that this movie is somewhat being weaponized.
I think it's hysterical that they're bitching about that, considering what this movie is, and it makes his fucking point completely.
Well, that's sort of why this movie. It's a movie about a big fat white guy who's being attacked by the FBI and the media.
Right.
I mean, the parallels are there for what's going on in society with Trump.
Sure.
And so the movie is being weaponized by both sides. It's happening. It's sickening. It's why it might be a great movie.
It's good. Know. It's really good. It's really good.
But it's why it's not going to get the attention it might otherwise get if it didn't seem so conveniently timed.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but also the media doesn't want you to see this movie. Why would they?
Right.
Why
because
would they?
It makes them look bad.
It makes them look terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's
But honest to God though, it's really good, and it's nice to see. We've seen a lot of like the Post type movies lately.
Yeah.
Let's remember how fucked they can be too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And like, not even that they reported anything that wasn't true. It's just that they weren't careful. They didn't have any care over the lives they were destroying with the information that they were using. Right. So
it's one of those things. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Remember that no matter what team you root for, remember the potential that they have.
Yes, that's true.
For evil.
And it is, I would like to state that it is, like, I was thinking about Clint Eastwood movies. I didn't see 1517 or whatever to Paris, but it was better than The Mule. It was better than Sully, which I thought was pretty good. It's a really good Clint Eastwood movie. So people who are Clint Eastwood fans will be happy. I wouldn't put it in like the upper echelon with like even his like little renaissance with $1 Million Baby or Gran Torino, but it's really good. It's fucking solid. And he's masterful at drawing the sad out of you, like the emotions, because like you feel so bad for like Kathy Bates plays this guy's mom.
Yeah.
And it's just rough.
Yep.
And they make John Hamm such a piece of shit.
Such a piece of shit.
It's great.
Well, because eventually I'll see it. I don't really have much of an interest in it. And it's not political. It's just, I don't know. I'm a little played out with him just because I feel like his style is very
Clint Eastwood.
It's just, it's very Clint Eastwood. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's
too bad because he's one of my favorite filmmakers. I don't understand that thought process. That doesn't make sense to me because I'm sorry, but once I saw Unforgiven, I knew I have to see everything this guy makes. Sure. Now I haven't seen the 1517 to Paris though, or whatever.
I'm sure you'll love it.
I don't know. From what I hear, it stinks. That was the one where they got the real guys to play the real heroes played the characters, which is a little concerning.
I remembered I did see one more thing.
Oh, did you?
I dusted off an old one.
Okay.
I watched The Long Kiss Goodnight.
The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Starring Gina Davis.
Okay, yep.
And Sam Jackson.
Sure.
Written by Shane Black.
Okay.
So lets you know what you're getting.
So it's almost as good as Predators or The Predator or whatever?
You know what? I feel the thing is like what I realized about Shane Black between the Predators and Iron Man 3 is that he cannot work outside of the buddy cop genre. He can't.
He should just be a buddy cop guy.
Because this is a buddy cop movie where Gina Davis is a spy with amnesia.
Okay.
Or assassin with amnesia. This movie is written so fucking well.
This is like early 90s, right?
96.
Okay, mid 90s. So I remember this, but I don't remember it well, and I haven't seen it.
It's on
20
Netflix.
Years. Okay.
And I was like, okay, Sam Jackson, Shane Black. Yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
The real problem is that it's dated.
It's very 90s.
It's very 90s.
Isn't that funny?
And it's not in a writing way. It's sort of like execution of scenes, sort of shot composition choices. The action is really where it's very 90s.
Sure.
In the worst way possible. Well, not the worst way, I guess. But anyways, but the writing
it's
is
good.
So it's a fucking riot. Shane Black
He's a very funny man.
He's very funny. Like, I was like, I was about to say something hyperbolic to get you to watch the movie.
Let's hear it.
But
I want to hear what you were going to say.
It's not true, but I was going to say it's approaching The Nice Guys as far as being as hilarious.
I'm going to have to watch it.
And you know what? Maybe that's not wrong. It's approaching The Nice Guys.
Fucking, I want Nice Guys too so bad. I want it so bad.
Because that is what because I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, is The Nice Guys, is that? Because she's like, oh, I love that movie. And I was like, the one with Ryan Gosling? And she's like, oh, I was thinking about the Mark Wahlberg one. I was like, no, that's the other guys. I just remembered it. Couldn't remember it in the conversation.
Nice Guys better than the other guys.
Oh, way better.
And I liked the other guys too for what it is.
The other guys is fine. Whatever. It's fine.
But yeah, anything else?
No, that was it.
The last one I have I'm hoping, because I can't take it anymore. Okay. I'm hoping this is the last best of the year contender.
Oh no.
Which is, I'm hoping, I guess Star Wars, I hope is, but probably not going to happen. But Dolemite Is My Name.
Oh, that's right.
With Eddie Murphy. What a treasure. Honest to God, you press play on this movie and you just can't help but have a shit-eating grin on your face the entire movie. It is fucking great. The characters are great. The story is great. It's got a really heartfelt, like, hey, don't let anybody keep you down. You know, don't let anybody tell you, like, you're not going to make it or you can't follow your dreams message.
Fuck those.
And Eddie Murphy is fucking amazing.
That's
Wesley Snipes is amazing in this.
That's a big surprise to hear that.
Incredibly good. He's incredible. You remember he's right back into like charismatic scene stealing Eddie Murphy. It's mind blowing. It's fucking amazing.
Because it got to the point with him where you're like,
he was doing a bunch of like kid movies and
well, you're like is he ever going to capture it again? Was the question.
We haven't seen him in a movie in forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was the last one like Daddy Daycare? Like
something like that, probably. Yeah. But was Daddy Daycare him or Ice Cube?
I thought it was him.
Maybe it was. I don't know. A Pluto Nash, like that era.
I don't. Yeah.
Like he haunted mansion.
Oh,
like, yeah, right. That's like the last we knew of Eddie Murphy.
Disney's like, we're going to make every ride a movie.
I think the last good Eddie Murphy, and it wasn't nearly as good as like the 80s Eddie Murphy movies, was probably The Nutty Professor, where he played like his whole fat family.
And I will be interested to see if that holds up in any way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, I can imagine that the scenes with him and his family sitting around being just loudmouth assholes are still funny. But
I think it's probably going to be like Austin Powers.
Sure.
You have to be in the mood for it.
Sure.
Otherwise, it's going to grate on you.
That could be true. But yes, it is fucking great. It's an A. It's knocked another movie out of my top 10. I don't know which one yet, but it has knocked more movies. It's probably knocked movies out of my top 5. Or a movie out of my top 5. It's fucking great. It's fucking great. And the ending, like, I got emotional at the end.
Wow.
Because I was so happy with what I just watched. I was so happy. I can't say enough good fucking things. Everyone in it is awesome.
off the pod, Jackson has been trying to sell me on this movie since he started it.
Dude, yes. 25 minutes in, I was like texting people like, dude, has anybody watched this?
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking, and I felt like an asshole because I was like you, just not in the mood for it yet. I'm going to watch it. Not in the mood for it yet. And actually, we were going to watch something else. It was the wife and I were on Netflix and we're kind of going through like, oh, should we continue this show or should we do this or that? And I'm like, well, there is this Eddie Murphy movie. She's like, oh, yeah, put that on. I'm like, all right.
That's all you needed was just a little nudge.
I needed a nudge. So this is my nudge to the people.
Too bad you're not in my home right now.
Fucking great. And yeah, basically it's about this guy who he's like a washed up like act, like a musician, dancer, whatever he can do to get like on the stage or whatever.
Sure.
And essentially the plot is that he's kind of having a rough go of it. He's trying to get his like records put on the radio or whatever. Like Snoop Dogg is in this. He this poor guy always walks in and like tells these crazy fucking stories. So he's like, okay, well, what if we like took those stories and did something? So he goes and like pays these poor people to just tell him these fucked up, crazy, like hilarious stories.
Okay.
And he turns it into this character of Dolemite. And he goes up and he starts just, you know, his little like rhymes and stories about, oh, and then she got so low, she sucked an earthworm's dick, you know, and it's fucking amazing. It's amazing. And it's a true story. Dolemite is real. So now I have to go watch Dolemite, the movie.
It's a true story.
It's based on a true story about this guy, Rudy Ray Moore, who is known as the godfather of rap, apparently.
Oh, shit.
Because people saw these stupid, like, comedic rhymes he was doing. And that's apparently people credit him with, like, the concept of rap. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, he was a blaxploitation, like, shitty little like dumpy movie guy who made some movies, and yeah, it's wonderful. It's fucking wonderful. It's wonderful. I loved it. Eddie Murphy's back. This makes me hopeful for anything else that's coming with Eddie Murphy. You know,
coming to America too.
Coming to America? Yes, I've seen this pictures of that, by the way, and it is a trip. It's just like they've caught like shots of him with like his Akeem African,
is he still running around shirtless?
No, I don't believe so. Okay. That was only in Zamunda.
I know.
That was at the beginning in Zamunda. But you know, they've got pictures of Arsenio Hall like as one of the old, I think the guys in the barbershop. Yeah. I mean, I hope it's please be good. Hopefully it's rated R.
I was just thinking, just because, I mean, you think about like young Eddie Murphy. Young Eddie Murphy was actually kind of cut.
Sure, in that movie, yeah. He's not as cut as he would be if they made that movie today.
No.
He's not a Camille or whatever non-Johnny cut.
Jesus Christ. Did you see that shit?
That should have been in the news. Top story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is jacked. It was funny. I'm like, hey, hon, look at this. And I showed her a picture and she's like, I still can't think he's sexy.
He's too funny.
His fucking head and his facial expression is just.
But I'm like, good on him though, man. The amount of work that went into that.
I like the fact that he said that too, even though it's a little hyperbolic, but his point about like, I understand that had I not had the means to have trainers every day and whatever,
and the most expensive trainers.
Yes.
Bought by the biggest studio on the planet.
That he could have never done this, which maybe is true for him, but I still think, I mean, we all probably could use a little bit of a
bit of a nudge.
Yeah, to see the Eddie Murphy. I'm telling you, man, go home and watch it. I mean, edit the podcast first.
Right. But
afterwards, it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Okay.
Loved it. Loved it.
I'm trying to not be defiant right now.
No, you need to watch it.
Okay.
And if you don't like this, we might as well this is going to be a marriage story where we're just going to divorce the podcast. We can start the next episode with like, the thing I liked most about Alex he's very,
measured.
Yeah, measured in his.
You know what? We need a list of how many times you've said that about movies. If you don't like this, it's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, but usually you like it. If it's that good,
yeah,
it's not like you're going to come out and be like, oh, that fucking sucked, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I've been like, I think I came out on a couple and said like,
it was okay.
It's not as good as you say it is.
Yeah, right. Ad Astra, Hereditary, sure. Yeah.
What? Oh, yeah, Ad Astra. Right, yep. I was like, what is Ad Astra?
I was a little closer with you on Midsummer, but yeah. No,
that Florence Pugh, though.
That Florence Pugh. She is great.
She's great. I love how many good actresses we seem to be getting now.
Yes, that's true.
Like, I keep saying, like, I don't know. Florence Pugh is great. Scarlett Johansson. I'm probably just going to name half the Marvel cast because goddamn, they have
Scarlett Johansson's great. The chick from Jumanji's great.
Tessa
Thompson's great. Gwyneth Paltrow. Captain Marvel girl's great. Natalie Portman's great.
Actually, it's kind of funny because like they all kind of are great.
No, I don't. Hey.
Natalie Portman is pretty damn good when she decides she wants to be.
She's on the lower rung of the Marvel ladies.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I got nothing else.
Great episode.
Great.
Everyone enjoy Star Wars. Don't let the haters get you down. It's time to celebrate.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with our non-spoiler and spoiler reviews.
Of Star Wars.
The end.
The rise of fan service.
That was the
that was the first
episode. Oh yeah, that's right. That was the episode that we did.
Yeah.
That was about the trailer though, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Wasn't about the movie. Because apparently we'll see.
I think it is.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.